Hey guys, welcome back to the Grant Mitt Podcast, episode number 86. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about emotional control, how to think like a CEO, and how to handle all the different situations that you have in your life, whether it's business, family, relationships, on how to control your emotions. In life, if you do not know how to control your emotions, you will be controlled by someone who does. You see this with the people who are the most emotional, who get the most triggered when they don't get the attention they think they deserve, or when someone doesn't agree with their ideas, or the situation that they're in is not going how they like it. They have outbursts, they get upset, they act crazy, they do things, and they are manipulated by people, oftentimes who appear to think the same way they do, but utilize them to get what they want out of life. You see this with people rioting all over the places when they start doing destructive things. They start messing up relationships. This is all caused by people who are manipulating people who cannot control their emotions. Now, I'm going to be very blunt in this podcast, and I'm going to say things that are contrary to what the masses tell you, what the media tells you, and what probably your family and closest friends tell you. That is what it is. Now, it is a lie that the world, and I believe also on the medical side of things, has told people that your emotions are not your responsibility, or that if your emotions are all over the place, you immediately have some type of disorder or some issue that is not your fault. This could not be further from the truth. And these are the people who are believing these things who are getting manipulated for other people's gain. And the reason I'm speaking out about this, and the reason why I'm being so upfront and blunt about it, is because me understanding and learning this the hard way altered my entire life forever. And if any one of you guys have listened to me enough, and you've known me and listened to me for years, then you think right on line with what I think, and your life has also been altered. But this is a new perspective, and it includes you being accountable, which is uncomfortable as hell. So when I'm saying these things, this is not me saying that what you went through is not messed up, or what that person said or did to you is acceptable. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that you are in control and in charge of your life. And if you do not take into account that you, as the individual, and the same for me in my life, my situation, my family, so forth, we are the common denominators. And it is our job as people to control our emotions and not be manipulated by outside forces. Okay? The thing to realize is that emotions come and go. You're going to feel happy, you're going to feel sad, you're going to feel anxious about a big presentation that's coming up, you're going to be nervous before you're going in for a job interview. You're going to feel all different types of emotions. That does not make you messed up. That makes you human. Human are emotional, and it is okay to feel emotions. But emotional maturity is assessing the way you feel and understanding why you feel the way that you feel. The lowest level of emotional, management is you immediately blame outside sources and outside people for the things that you feel. Meaning, if you have a bad day, you immediately think it was because of your boss, it was because of the person that cut you off when you were driving to work, because of your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or current boyfriend or girlfriend, your friend. If those people have that much of a liability and control of your life, that is your fault, not theirs. 100% your fault. And in any given situation that happens to you, and this is something that has altered the way I look at every single problem. When something bad happens to you, you have two ways to view it, positively or negatively. And when you view it, let's say that you lose your job. The negative response is, this is horrible. I've done so much for this company. They just betrayed me. Now I don't even know how I'm going to be able to make rent. What if I don't get another job? The economy's slowing down. I could go on and on and on. That's the negative way. The positive way is, well, I've been thinking about getting into another industry or starting a business, and now I have the time to do so. I haven't been working out like I should and reading like I should. Now I'm going to have the time to do so. Now I'm going to have so much extra time to be more creative and strategic, so I could come up with, in the next 2 to 4 weeks, my next plan that could alter my life forever. And you know what? If I would have stayed in that same job for an extra 3 to 4 years, I may be really selling myself short. And now with me starting this potential business or going into this new industry or getting an even better job, I could quadruple or even more my income, my happiness, my quality of life, and I could spend time with my family. That's the positive way. So in all of these situations, you have to think about, how are you perceiving the emotion and the problem? We never know if something's good or bad. I'll tell you guys a quick story that will kind of change the way you look at problems. And this, I have a rule because I have to travel a lot for business and work, and I just enjoy traveling. That is, if I ever miss a flight, which is rare, or if I get delayed or there's an issue with the plane and it gets delayed, I will never be upset, because I will just know that I was not meant to be there at that time or meant to be on that plane. The founder of Family Guy, before he actually started Family Guy, he had a flight to New York in the morning. And the previous night, he was, I think, out drinking with his buddies or whatever the case was. And he went to sleep and he woke up and he goes, shit, I just missed my flight. He tried to hurry, he missed it. About an hour and a half later, after missing his flight, a plane went into the Twin Towers in New York, and that's when 9/11 happened. If he would have not missed that flight, he would have been one of the people that died going into the Twin Towers in New York. So you never know if something is good for you or bad for you. And a lot about emotional maturity is assessing what is creating that emotion and that feeling. And how, as you as the common denominator and the individual that's in this situation, who and what are you allowing into your area to create this feeling? And should you keep allowing it? It is our job to discern who is in our life, what environment you're putting yourself into, and what information you're allowing your brain to process. You have to be accountable for this. And the reason why I tell you why this is so important, and I'll give you a story of how this altered my life, is the common denominator that I've seen in all the most successful people is they are unbelievably accountable. They are so accountable for their decisions and their actions. If they have a bad relationship, they're going, why did I not see this further? Or why did I not anticipate this person being like this? If they hire a bad person, it hurts their business. They don't blame the person. They think, what went wrong in our hiring process? What steps can we implement to prevent this? What things can I notice in trends in their behavior to prevent this individual from coming into our organization? They always think from an accountable perspective. What can they do differently? And this takes a different level of emotional maturity. It is lazy and common to blame everyone for all of your problems and act like a crybaby and feel sorry for yourself because you had a tough life. We all have shit that happens to us, including me. Y'all know 1/10 of it, but I don't need to sit here and pout to you guys all day about bad things that happen to me. Instead, I need to produce results and be successful. And you need to do the same. All right. So I'm going to go through three steps to control your emotions better, think more clearly, and honestly just improve your complete well-being and lifestyle. And if you can master these things, guys, everything in your life will get better. I don't give a shit what you have or what your doctor told you or what your mom told you. You do these 3 things, your life will be altered forever. All right. Number 1, it is your responsibility, your sole responsibility, to control your emotions and make daily efforts to work on your mental health. It is not who you're dating. It is not your parents. It is not the person that did you wrong. And it is not your boss or anybody around you. It is your job to hold yourself accountable and work on this. One thing that I take pride in that altered everything and changed my business career, my friendships, everything, is that I find 30 to 60 minutes per day to work on myself and work on my mentality, my intelligence, and my mental health. I utilize affirmations to repeatedly remind myself what to believe. I read books to stimulate my mind, make myself more intelligent. I meditate. I work out because a strong body is a strong mind. I do things every single day that set my mind up to be more successful. Because I know that if I want to accomplish really big things, that's going to come with really big challenges and problems. And if I cannot handle that stress because I'm not mentally tough enough, I'm not going to be successful. And I can look back even over the last 4 to 5 years of running a business, the months and even the years where I was just lights out. I was the most focused on the mental side of things, the preparation. On the times where I made the most mistakes as a CEO and just in my personal life was when I was on autopilot and I was going so fast that I wasn't working on the basics. Nobody is too good to not work on their mentality, their mental toughness, and their emotional control. Nobody. And there's no level that you reach where you can stop doing this because it takes effort to even just be the same, much less even get better. So you have to first take accountability. These next 2 steps, if you do not do the first, these next 2 steps don't mean shit. They don't mean anything. Because it starts with you being accountable, and that is how you change your life, right? Number 2, what are your thoughts, environments, and people that you're currently around that is creating the reality that you're in? It is your job to curate the reality that you want. Okay, I'm gonna say it one more time. It is your job as an individual to curate the reality that you want. My point is this. If you want to be happy, you need to start doing things, being in environments, and being around people that create happiness. It is not a good decision to be around people that make you miserable and then medicate yourself enough so much that you just deal with it. That makes no sense. Or be around all these miserable environments, the job you don't like, the people you don't like, the boyfriend or girlfriend you shouldn't be dating, all those things combined, and then just feel sad. Your body sometimes will literally tell you when you're doing the wrong things. If I ever feel extremely stressed or just not like as happy as I normally would be, and I'm a very happy person, so it's hard for me to even admit that. I'm going, why am I feeling this way? Who have I been around lately? And when I start piecing down all of my decision making and the people that have been around me, and I start thinking, what are their problems? What do they talk about? What are their issues? Let's look at the company I per se work for, or the people I've been working around, the people I just hired. What is their personality? What is their problems? And what I will notice is that there's common denominators in all those different environments, peoples, and just surroundings that I've surrounded myself with that is correlated to my current emotional feelings. And what I want you to, and maybe just pause it right now and write this out, but I want you to write out your current emotions and feelings for the last, 30 days, 30 to 45 days, the feelings that you've consistently been having. And then I want you to dissect the things that you watch on social media, the TV reality shows you've been listening to, the people you've been around, and the person you've been dating, and the family that you've been surrounding yourself with. And I want you to notice how many correlations there are. They go hand in hand. Okay? If you watch reality TV where the couples in that show constantly cheat on each other, scream at each other, and act crazy, and you watch that with your boyfriend or girlfriend, your husband or your wife, y'all too will start doing the same things. We're slowly hypnotizing ourselves to feel the way that we feel, think the way that we think. And that's why we do it. And the lazy way, like we mentioned earlier, is to blame outside sources or to medicate yourself so much that you feel numb and you don't process anything at all. Or we can become accountable and we can solve this ourselves, right? Number 3, you control what thoughts and emotions you have by something called autosuggestion, right? Like I mentioned earlier, you're slowly hypnotizing yourself, and the things around you are slowly hypnotizing yourself to live the way you live, believe what you believe, and think what you think. This is why people will get a new friend group and they dress different, they act different, they talk different, and they live a completely altered other life. I have friends that just moved to different places, and I kid you not, they look like completely different people. That's why people get married. They start looking the same. It's because mirror neurons, when people are constantly looking at each other, humans naturally mirror each other, causes literally your face to start matching the other face of the other person. And we're not even talking about energy yet. You're having sex with another person? Oh my Lord. You're going to start talking the same, walking the same, acting the same. I could go on and on for days. So it is your job to control what goes in, right? A good step to start this is write out the emotions that you want to feel. Okay, I'm going to just list a couple that I like. I'm confident. I am wealthy. I am happy, right? So what I would do is speak those affirmations in the present tense. So say you're happy so many times that your ears bleed. Say you're confident so much times that it's like the only thing that processes in your mind. Say you're confident repeatedly. And when you say these emotions, this is the key. Feel that exact feeling. So when you're saying you're happy, feel happiness and visualize a time where you were happy. You're confident. Picture a time that you're confident. Or if you've never been confident before, picture yourself as a character being confident in a situation. As you're doing this, you're slowly reprogramming the way that your brain processes things, and most importantly, the way that your subconscious thinks. We project what we believe and what we want out of life onto other people. That's why if you're looking to catch somebody doing something, you're always going to be ready for it. If you're looking for the best in others, you could meet the worst person ever and you're going to find something good about them. It's reality. We each have our unique reality. So as I'm teaching you guys being more accountable, you have to utilize this and control the narrative. Next is find some type of books. You listen to this podcast, that's great. And friends that when you're around, you feel energized. You feel happier. You feel, more stimulated. You're like, man, I've never thought of stuff this way. You are more confident. They support you in the same way you do the same towards them. Constantly look for those environments. If you're in an environment where people don't appreciate you, first step is like, why? Why don't that? Is there something you're doing wrong? And maybe it isn't. And you need to work somewhere else. It's important to curate that specific reality. And this is done by standards. If you don't have the guts to walk away from bad people and bad environments, then you deserve whatever comes around being around those bad people and those bad environments. Make the damn decision and get into an environment that's going to suit you best. This is why some people are so freaking happy and why some people are miserable. You have to make a change and a decision. All right. So what caused a 360 in my life? I kid you not. If there was a way for me to get screwed or have the short end of the stick, I experienced it forever until I was about 22 years old. I always got passed up for the job. I got passed up for the job promotion. I was just telling someone when I was in New York, I applied for 500 jobs and I got 0 interviews. How crazy is that? Literally 500 jobs, not one interview. And what I noticed is what I'm teaching you right now, I had to learn. But unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn through pain and suffering and being broke and being disrespected. And many of you guys have had to feel the same way. But if you don't change, just like if I didn't change, nothing was going to change. My reality, what I wanted, or any of the things that I ultimately wanted to accomplish. So what I had to do is realize that my lack of focus and being prepared caused the results of everything that happened. I was around the wrong people. I was around I didn't get the right information. I didn't have the right network. I wasn't in the right places. I didn't have the right skill sets. This was my fault. And when I invested in myself and started studying and reading and learning like a crazy person nonstop every single day, It didn't take much more than 6 months to completely alter my life. And when I moved back from New York, within a year, I was making 6 figures at 22 years old. And by 24, I was already starting a company in this first year, did almost 6 million in sales, like that. So in a 2-year span, I got screwed and made all these dumb mistakes. Wasn't as happy as I could have been, wasn't fulfilled from being a young kid to 22 years old. But from 22 to 24, look how fast that changed. I was the same person. I had the same amount of resources or less, but I was that much more successful. It's because I stopped blaming other people for my lack of success. It wasn't my coach's fault. It wasn't my teacher's fault. It wasn't my parents' fault. It wasn't my boss's fault. It wasn't the market, the industry, or the damn president. It was my fault. And when I give this advice, I guarantee this podcast probably does not do that good. And it will only settle and work with a few of you. And the ones it does, y'all will be so successful. Everyone you grew up with will not be able to process because of how successful you are. And a lot of this is going to rub you the wrong way, and it's going to make you feel a little triggered because I'm going against the grain of what everyone has told you your entire lives. But there's a reason why I have been successful. It's not because I'm good. It's because I know that I am the common denominator in each situation. And I am telling you, as someone who cares about your success, that you are too. And if you do this, everything will change forever. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Make sure to follow me on all my social media channels at Grant Mitt. I also got a brand new newsletter that's sent to you guys every single week on Tuesday. It's a 3 to 5 minute read that alters your life, and it's going to be covering business topics, life topics, everything that can make us better. And if you guys would like to subscribe, I'm going to put the link below in the description. And that, look forward to seeing you guys again for episode 87. Thanks, guys.